All right, Ian. Wata Games did something that we've called on for years to do for years.
They started doing it late last year, right?
They released
the first Nintendo population report.
Population report for NES. And we said at the time, I remember, there's no reason why they can't do this for every single thing they have in their database. I know all these. Remember, there was a exploit on the website for a time where people could look at some of these numbers. Right. The information was there. They just hid it. Why would Wata Games want to hide their numbers? Because there was a vested interest, and I'm not sure if the relationship is still the same, but the owner of Heritage Auctions had a stake in Wata Games, so they're part and parcel of an operation to a point of, like, if you hide the population numbers of a game, if you obfuscate how rare these games actually are, people will
obfuscate.
Obfuscate. I hate that word.
Obfuscate.
Less information will lead to people to bid more and pay more on these games.
Yes.
If they don't know,
if they think it's the only one that's ever going to come up, they're going to spend more on it than if there's 5 of them.
Yes, or 10 or 20 or 30. And a lot of these poor souls, they're not retro game collectors. They come in from other realms like card collecting, Magic cards, Pokemon cards, comic books. They may not realize that to the average person, a box copy of Super Mario 3 is not a big deal because there's a ton out there. They might say, "Wow, well, this is coveted more because it's a popular game." When they don't factor it the same. They think it's exactly like comic books, in terms of collecting your cards. When it's different, it's just a different beast. So we said for years we have to know everything that's on the up and up. That's what CGC did for their comics. It's all out in the open. You know how many. You know how many Detective Comics 27s there are with each condition. You know that.
You can see the playing field clearly.
Yes. Which is one of the reasons why I almost can't wait for them to come in and then actually apply that methodology to them getting into grading games, because it can't be worse than Wata. It can only be better. And that's probably one of the reasons why Wata did this, to try to get in front of that. But also, they also came out with this information within, 48 to 72 hours of the lawsuit announced on Reddit. It was pretty good timing.
Yeah, that was interesting timing to me. It could just be timing, but I feel like,
why now?
Right. Coming clean so quickly with everything. Because they could have released all of these back in the fall.
Yes. Or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So we're going to go through a little bit of it. We can go through some of the N64 ones, because obviously, like, the Mario 64 one was a huge one that we're like, what the hell's happening here?
Right.
But I think what we have to be aware of is how this is going to be sort of weaponized between both camps from ours and people that are pro speculation. They're saying, well, this proves that there's only this many number of Mario 64s. And so we were right all along. So there's going to be like a gray area here. I'm not entirely on one side or the other. So they released population reports for the following: Turbo Graphics, N64, NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Virtual Boy, Sega CD, Dreamcast, Genesis, Saturn, PS1, Super Nintendo. It's nice. Like I said, they have these numbers for every single console that they have. PS2, they know the PS3 numbers, they know everything. PS1, they have PS1 on here. They have them all. I would want to see everything as soon as possible. So I'm going to start with TurboGrafx. Why not? Because it's actually one of those things that's near and dear to us, that, like, TurboGrafx 16 games aren't really blown up yet in terms of the sealed stuff.
Sure.
It's a quirky system. So if you look at the list, of course, you see what's the most common one: Bonk's Adventure. Like, it's Bonk's Adventure, besides, Keith Courage, the most common, Bonk TurboGrafx game. It's the only flagship character they really have that's worth anything.
The closest thing they had to a mascot.
Yes. And so it's like the one game you probably would have had. For some reason I didn't. If you had a TurboGrafx 16, the odds are you also had Bonk. You take the average person, they have Bonk or maybe Blazing Lasers. Those are the two. So 27 of them have been graded there. So that's just interesting there. Other than that,
11 Cosmic Fantasy 2. I'm not surprised that
there's thousands of those that are sealed. Like,
I sold mine ages ago, but
mine's still sealed. Like, I couldn't find one unsealed when I was trying to buy. That like, I bought it like probably 12 years ago. Probably like 50 of them.
Yeah.
And then Any other ones that sort of there's no more than like most of them have like 2 or 3. Ninja Spirits 8, Ninja
Yeah, I
Spirits
was
is
gonna
common.
say Bonk's Adventure and Cosmic Fantasy are the only ones that crack double digits.
Splatterhouse, 7 of them. I have a sealed Splatterhouse I bought from my friend, so I have one there. I have about probably 12 sealed Turbo games. Turbo games are not extremely hard to find sealed. A lot of times, when in the past I search for them, I'd be like, oh, I want to buy what's a couple examples like Dragon Spear. I think I have a sealed one of that, and like Fantasy Zone, like the ones that are like not top tier games, but like they probably made a lot of them anyway. That came out in the first year or two. Like that, like Splatterhouse, like that came out in the first couple years. There's a decent amount before the sale to TTI was at 92. Then they become more almost every game's uncommon at that point a few years in. So that's an interesting one. You want to go N64?
Yeah, let's do N64.
Let's do it. N64. The first thing I see is that, oh boy, there's a certain amount of games that there are a lot of sealed copies of here. 102 of Conkers. That just blew my mind when I see that. I'm gonna click on all E in the bottom so I see them all at once, and then we could.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Is this sortable? Come on, Wata. You can't make this sortable when I click on the top. You can't do that for me.
Sortable.
You got to be kidding me, Wata. Okay, so there's many games in double figures, and then there's about 10 games in triple figures. It looks like here. So what this tells you, we always say that once you get to like the mid to late 90s, sealed stuff becomes a lot more common.
Yeah,
it just is. For whatever reason, that's when people started to maybe collect games more.
I think that's also when people started to realize, hey, there's, to some people, there's value in these being unopened.
Sure. Or at that point, maybe the other aspect of it, when the company had a lot of overstock, they didn't just destroy it. Maybe they liquidated it more by then. There's a lot of things that go into this.
197 Gauntlet Legends.
I'm not surprised by that. It's a common game. But you're surprised there's that many sealed?
I guess so, yeah. At Luna, we stopped seeing it a couple of years ago. It's got hard to come by.
Only 2 that has the included pewter figure. That's one of those ones. Yeah. It was a bigger box. There's a window thing on the top. Doing the N64 book, I've discovered that there's more of these weird variants than I realized. Would they included something like that? They include like there was a plush monster included in one of the versions of Rampage, I believe the second one,
and then one of the Hot Wheels racing.
Yeah, there's more than that. So it's interesting to see that 107 Golden Eyes,
157 Perfect Arc.
So the reason I'm saying 107 jumping to that is that when you see how many that are, I would say 9.4 and above, you want to say that's the collectible range, whatever. It's like 9.4.
I would say 9.6, but
okay.
Well, yeah, 9.4 to 9.8.
There are 40 in that condition of GoldenEye, and that's a game you're going to be seeing sell for. It's regularly sells for 5 figures on heritage auctions.
Yeah,
it goes to show you. 55 Hydro Thunders, 201 Ocarina of Times. 3 9.8, 17 9.6s, and 37 9.4s. I'm going to go search right now to see what those are going for as we talk, because I'm very curious about how much those have gone for.
Zeldas?
The Zeldas.
Yeah, I would like an answer on that.
Because we're going to get to our larger point about, would people be spending this amount of money if they had these numbers before last summer, when this stuff really got to the point of, wow, this is nuts, Ian. Something's going on, or having Carl go to me in Discord, hey Pat, what's up with this Super Mario 64? And I said, well, this is what's going on. And then like when people outside get interest in seeing what's happening, because the numbers don't pass the smell test as it goes.
Right.
So I'm going to look up Ocarina right now. You want to comment on the Mario 64, the big one?
Yeah. So Mario 64 has 125, I believe, graded copies
that are sealed.
Okay. Only 3 in the 9.8 range. So I assume that there was probably more than that.
I got a caveat on that, but for now, yes. Okay.
I did assume that there was more than that. As of right now, there is not. However, if you look at 9.4 and up, you have 13 9.4, 6 at 9.6, and then you have a whole bunch underneath. And I don't think that's the end of the amount of Super Mario 64s that we're ever going to see graded.
No, this is why. They have a huge backlog. This is part of the lawsuit.
Yes.
They have a backlog of maybe a year or more. maybe a year or more backlog. So don't go on Twitter or in a YouTube video and say, hey, Pat and Ian, look at this, because we don't know what they're sitting on.
Sure.
You think people, what do you think happened when they saw a fucking common dirt game go for $1.5 million and they had maybe one or two laying around? What do you think they did? Did they say, oh, I'm just going to hold it? No, they sent it in to get graded to cash in on this. And everyone else did as well.
Yeah. So I have a feeling in a year or two, we're going to see a much larger update.
And that doesn't account, again, the VGA ones that are already graded,
Sure.
whatever gold that can qualify as a 9.8. We talked about that. One went in auction last year. That probably would have qualified as a 9.8. We talked about that. It was like one or two of them that potentially could have went, because the scales are totally different here. All right, you want some Ocarina?
I do.
Fun?
Hit me with the Ocarina fun.
Let me get the numbers up. Okay, well, how many Ocarinas were 9.4 on that list, Ian?
Oh, how many were
9.4 specifically.
Legend of Zelda.
37. I found 37. Okay, 37. You want some of the sales of the 9.4s?
Yeah, 37 of these. Hit me.
16.8 thousand.
16.8 thousand?
22.8 thousand. Another one. Again, 9.4. 14.4 thousand. 14.4 thousand. Another one. 13.2 thousand. There's 37 of these that we know of now.
Right now.
Just through Wata. 37 of them, and these are in 5 figures. 37 of them.
Do me a favor and look up Conquer.
The Conquer ones? Okay.
Yeah, look up Conquer at a 9.4.
Look up Bad Fur Day. And there was more. Those are just, I didn't go through the 9.6 or the 9s. You want me to do the 9s real quick? How many 9s are there?
I just moved down. I moved to Conquer. Give me 1 second. 9s, there are...
This is even better.
There's only 19.
There's only
19.
Only 19. Mm-hmm. Only 19. Because they probably didn't come from factory cases because of that.
Sure.
All right. There's only 19, but it's a worse condition. 14,000, 12,000, 12,000, 4.8 thousand.
Absolutely nuts.
It's insane. All right. I'll go to Bad Fur Day, because this is another one. Okay. I'll put in Bad Fur Day.
Because
okay.
Bad Fur Day is generally considered to be far more rare, but there's 102 of them.
It's an uncommon game.
It's
uncommon.
Sure. But it seems like one that people would rush to grade because of its notoriety.
Yeah, this isn't going to hit. This isn't going to hit the other ones though. But okay.
What do they have it at?
This only has 9.4s and 4.6 thousand, 3.3, and 2.6. So that one doesn't quite pass it. You want to do GoldenEye?
Yeah.
Let's do GoldenEye. Fuck it. GoldenEye.
Let's get there.
And 64, because that's probably almost as bad. We'll get to Mario. We'll get to Mario in a second.
GoldenEye's 9.4 is 19 of them.
There's 19 of them? Mm-hmm. Okay. 33.6 thousand. 9.4, you said. 22.8 thousand. What's the next one? 6,000, Player's Choice. That's the caveat there, so it's not the first release. There's a lot more 9.6s on here. You want me to look up 9.6?
Sure.
Well, how many 9.6s are there for GoldenEye?
GoldenEye has 9.6s, 15.
15. 22.8 thousand. 10,000. 6,000. So there's a few there. So surprisingly, there's only been 3 sold for 9.6. I'm kind of shocked that there's only been 3. If there's 20 that exist.
Yeah.
We want to do the good old Mario 64?
Let's do Mario 64.
All right, Mario 64.
9.4, there's 13 of them.
Let's see how many have been sold. 9.4? Mm-hmm. 9.4. How many are there 9.6s?
9.6 is less. So 13, 6, and 3 for 9.4, 9.6, and 9.8.
There's 13. Well, they've sold 5 of those on Wata. 41,000.
Jesus Christ.
38.4 thousand. 30,000. 28.8 thousand. And then the last one was a Player's Choice. I wouldn't even count that one. It's 5.5. So you have a game where there's, what, you said 16 of them?
Yeah. Wait, 16?
Or
13.
13. And then 4 of them have gone for 40.8, 38.4, 30, and 28.8. When you look at the numbers, and those numbers didn't go down. Like the 40.8 one, that was from this January, from 2 months ago. The high one was from this January, before this information comes out. Do you think that those people would have potentially put down that money?
No.
They don't know because they don't know how many exist.
Right. So they can't make an informed decision.
They only saw 2 more before that date, not counting the player's choice. They saw one before that go for January 38.4. Oh, one went just for April. One went 4 days ago for only 30. Wow. So you got a 25% hit. And that was that after they released this? Wow, they just did an auction right after these numbers came out. That's something we should have went over if we were prepared to see if the auction numbers were affected by this in any way.
Yeah.
That's something interesting. We could have looked at the whole auction number there. You know, I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna do it anyway. How many Sonics, Ian? Let's go to Genesis.
Let's do that.
Because a Sonic game went for a sealed Sonic just went for $360,000 on April 22nd. $360,000. There.
I gotta go to all.
Just click back. Population reports, Sega Genesis, Sonic the Hedgehog. Your Clue went for $156,000, Ian.
No.
Recently. So there you go.
Sonic the Hedgehog, not a lot. 9.6 has 11, 9.4 has 9, 9.8 has 5.
5 of them, though.
That's 5. Yeah.
5 that we know of.
That's a lot for that kind of price.
That we know of. That doesn't include, again, VGA. So whatever you come at me, you better fucking throw some VGAs into here, because that could double these numbers on some of these. It's not going to make them less. It's going to be more. And it obviously doesn't count ones that are sitting around Wata's offices the past year, or the ones that CG has acquired the past 6-7 months. They're starting to do this stuff. They're probably training up people and doing this stuff. Let's do Mario Kart. That's one I wanted to do. Let's go back and do Mario Kart
64,
because that's always a one that always was weird as well in terms of it, because that's a ass common game. That's literally a million seller
for 64.
Yes, Mario Kart 64.
All right,
because that's always gone for a lot. 77 sealed total. A 9.6 just went for $144,000. There's
12 of them.
There's 12 of them. This isn't a 9.8. Oh, you want to say there was only 2? There's 12 of them that we know of. So the gambit is the people buying these, Ian, that the person that bought this, whether or not they knew there was 11 others that exist in the seal that are public on this list, that all right, there's not enough that are going to come up that people will be able to buy them, that this will keep going up. There's not enough. That's the gambit that these people all have been making. And again, we're talking 100, 150, 200 people making these purchases. These aren't thousands of people buying these.
Right.
This isn't an NFT sort of thing.
No. Well, that's a small base too. But yeah, we're not even talking the 400,000 people who are active in this market. This is much.
You want to be generous? Say, hey, Pat, there's 500 people. Okay, maybe there's 500. So you're talking about the people now playing chicken with each other.
Yep.
When it comes to this, that's what's happening. Now I got to look up the John Madden one, because that's just went for $102,000. God, I did not know an auction just went up, because the timing now makes sense for this. Oh, what a coincidence! I don't see Super Nintendo listed. Oh, no, it is. My bad. My apologies, Wada. It's on the bottom. It was under Super, not under the rest of it for Nintendo. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm not a conspiracy theorist when it comes to that. How many John Madden footballs are there?
That's a Genesis one, right?
That was on Super.
Oh, that was Super.
Okay, so far there's only 11. Well, a 9.6 where there is 2 of them. One went for $102,000. I guarantee you there is a ton more sealed John Madden footballs out there.
Yep.
John Madden football. That was a big seller there. So all right, well there's more here. I think what it comes down to is this. Is that, again, I think people are going to trust these numbers as the people that are dyed in the wool that are speculating this stuff. They're going to see this as evidence of, I had a good investment. People are just going to say this is evidence that you're fucking nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the numbers are at a place where both sides are going to make these arguments. But I do think it's kind of crazy. I think those, for the smaller market base that this sort of stuff occupies, that's a lot of copies.
Because if you really wanted them to be transparent, first of all, they'd have every single console. I would love to see a pending number next to all of these. Sure. Hey, we got only 7 ActRaisers, but we got 10 waiting to go, or 5 or whatever. Just so you have an idea of how many are there. Again, This is one of the reasons why the lawsuit is happening. And speaking of the lawsuit, Ian, so I double checked the Reddit thread when it came up, and because it had disappeared, it was gone. It said it was deleted by the post was still there,
yeah.
but you couldn't. It wasn't easily searchable, I guess, because it said the top was deleted. All the text was deleted. The replies to that from the lawyer, those were still there.
Right.
So I'm like, what's happening here? Was not that I didn't doubt it was real, but I wanted to figure out what's going on here.
Did someone spook them out?
So, I'm not logged in. They logged me into like a random Reddit account. That's kind of weird. I got to log in with my actual name here. Okay, log in there. I am now logged in. Okay. So I reached out to the user, who is a lawyer, and this is a real lawyer.
This is a real lawyer.
I don't have to say. I have a full name.
Right.
I have an email address attached to a website that shows it's a law firm based in California. And I asked straight out, "Hi, I saw that you had deleted your post concerning Wata and the potential lawsuit. Does this mean it is not going forward, or was this deleted for another reason? I appreciate your response, as we had covered this announcement on our podcast. Thanks." And then I asked, "Is this okay for me sharing this update?" Which I got an update. "Yes, it is okay to share this update. Thank you. Dear Pat Contry," that's my Reddit name, "I am a huge fan. Love the podcast. Fans of us.
Yay, thank
you are
you.
doing great work." Remember, this is also a game collector, so they might have heard us ramble about this shit the past 3 years like lunatics. "I deleted the post because I was getting so many responses. Responding to each person was requiring quite a big time commitment. I was worried that I would not be able to keep up with all the inquiries." That's what we kind of guessed at. There might be a lot of people hitting them up.
Too much stuff.
Also, we already appear to have a very good number of responses, and many individuals with typical, in parentheses, great class claims have been asked to join as named plaintiffs. We are proceeding. Truth be told, I also began thinking that Wata attorneys were reading the comments, and I just did not want to give them any ammunition to try to find out which comments aligned to one particular.
Yeah, that might have been more.
Yes.
That was what I was wondering about.
Fear of reprisal.
Yes.
Some of these people might have their game still tied up with Wata.
People saying too much in the comments because they don't know anything about law and lawsuits that could end up right. Just better off to kind of get rid of that.
So thank you. I won't say your name unless you give me permission to say your name. But if Wata's lawyers might have already found out. But thank you for the update. And then they asked, may I contact you with progress updates? I would be happy to share the complaint with you the day it's filed. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Sure.
Thank you. So it wasn't any doubt that it probably wasn't a lawyer, but this confirms 100% that it is a lawyer. But random people were saying it, that this is an expert saying this is a lawyer doing this. So there you go. So this is going to proceed.
Proceed.
Oh, the depositions are going to be fun. That's going to be good. Discovery. Yeah. All the good civil stuff that I learned from watching Suits over the years. They put you in front of a video camera and you answer lawyer questions. This is even before the trial. This is part of the information gathering phase that's going to happen if it gets to that point.
If it gets to that point. I think it'll settle.
You think, Ian?
Yes.
Well, you never know. You never know.
No, you don't. But I do think it'll settle. I don't think they want that. I don't think they want more stuff coming out.
The settlement will still be admission of that there was bad stuff going on, obviously.
Sure. That
might be part of it. You got to admit some sort of culpability or something. That might be part of it or not. They may say, "No, we'll give you money. We won't admit we did anything wrong."
Right.
That might be something. But remember, with the class action lawsuit, doesn't mean you can't sue separately as an individual. You can choose not to be a part of a class and go after them yourself. That's part of this as well. You don't have to choose to be in a class. So like if someone, say for example, say this goes to a settlement. Say this eventually went to a settlement. There can be someone that says, "I don't agree with this. I don't want to be part of this class. I'm going to take up a separate lawsuit." That's always a possibility with these things.
Right.
That's part. Ian, with his, what you say, you got a vape pen or something that it was a settlement that happened.
Or my EpiPen.
EpiPen, sorry, not vape pen. Sorry, a little bit more serious. EpiPen.
Yeah, my EpiPen
wasn't for recreation. It was medical. Say Ian says this is a bullshit settlement. They damaged me more than what I think I deserve.
You can go and do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be the start of a process. And I don't know how that works legally. I'm not a lawyer. if there's a settlement that happens, would that give more ammo to people that weren't a part of the class to get in on it? With, you know what I mean, and come in themselves? I don't know, but this is going to go forward. We've definitely turned a point where we're not just crazy people yelling about this anymore. I mean, it happened a large part thanks to Carl's video in the fall, but we're now getting to the point where it's nice to see action come from the ramblings of madmen in some form.
Yes. Yes.